everybody, welcome to another episode of the Webcomics Hubcast. It's your boy Nen, the king of, I was gonna say the crown king of crime, and I forgot it was the crown prince of crime. Doesn't fucking matter. It's me. I'm back, and I probably sound better than I have in the last 6 months. You've probably all noticed I had surgery. I cut out all the previous bits, that's why I'm repeating myself. I had surgery. Anyone who's wondering what happened with the background image, let me tell you, it's about something we're gonna talk about with Webtoon earnings. We will get to that news. Today, in fact, we have a lot of things to talk about. So we're gonna be talking about VoiceMe, the webcomic platform that none of you ever seem to know when I'm talking about them. But VoiceMe, I got some information about what's happening internally, and I would like to discuss it because it's very small, but it's very meaningful, and it also says a lot about what our bigger competitors are going to be, the bigger competitors in this space are going to be doing. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the Webtoon investor report, discuss the losses, the gains, the situation at hand, and what it means for the company as a whole. There's a lot to talk about in that regard, and I want to really like pinpoint on certain topics because there's a lot to talk about in terms of the development of content. There's a lot to talk about in terms of Webtoon's goals as a company, and I'll talk about how big the company has become right now and what that might mean for any future competitor. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the Eisners. Let's go, the Eisners! The Eisner Award nominees. The Eisner Award nominees. So this year's nominees, I'm going to focus really on the webcomic section. So just so you're aware, I'm not going to actually talk about quite literally anything else. But this year's nominees for the webcomic section is what I want to really like touch on. Because for the first year ever, the webcomic nominees do not have a Webtoon from what I remember. Well, hold on, I'm looking at the wrong. I opened the website to the 2025 Eisner nominees, and I misclicked on the entire wrong page. Anyway, I was trying to make sure I have it open so that we could talk. Anyway, from what I'm understanding, unless I've completely fucked this, which wouldn't be unusual for me because I'm an idiot, the webcomics listing has no Webtoons. And I think that's a really important thing to talk about because it signifies some kind of mental change that may be happening at the company, but it also might be a discussion on what they value, right, as a company, because we'll talk about it when we get there. Then we're also going to be discussing a salty Eisner nominee who's upset that they didn't win, and we're going to talk about why they made their comic, and that's where I'm going to get myself canceled. Then we're going to talk about Global Comics and one of their new creative initiatives that they're going for. And finally, we're going to talk about Webtoon removing Daily Pass before we get into Korea news. Korea news, everybody. Korea news. I call it Korean news, but it's where I put all the little Korean stories that I get. I'm not well-versed in Korean. My Korean is still really bad, but I try to get news from there, and that's what the whole point of that is. Any questions before I go on? I always like to leave the room open to it, because I think it's important in case anyone wants to say something to me or be like, bring up something from the previous stream. Webtoon removing the star rating system. Yeah, but that one is not as important. I actually find the star rating system removal to be irrelevant. I think it's completely useless. I mean, I'm going to talk about it, but I think it has one very specific meaning, and that's it. You know? How was my day? I'm having some building work done, and I'm dealing with somebody who's trying to do something really stupid to me. And so that's really been my day, just dealing with someone being stupid. I think the star rating system is basically a meaningless move. It has one thing, but that's it. And I will discuss that at the time when we get to that part. Yeah, okay. Let's go. We'll always dig up my past, Quan. To hold me responsible. Chat, your job is to hold me responsible. If you think I have done something wrong, you should tell me off. And also, we do not talk about the ORV live action or the Let's Play anime. Because I'm gonna level with you, they really did massacre my girl. I don't even like Let's Play, but the anime just looks wrong. But that's me, I don't care. Anyway. People fighting about the Let's Play anime for me directly is the funniest shit. I love this. I could never give up live streaming. Anyway, let's start with today's first topic. Now, this topic does not have any graphics, so I'm just gonna have to talk to you about it. I had graphics, and I do have graphical stuff for this, but I cannot show it for risk of exposing any of my contacts. Anyway, so VoiceMe if you don't know anything about VoiceMe, in fact, I'm going to use the VoiceMe website as a linchpin and a jumping off point. So we're going to use that. I'm going to open the display. Okay, so if you don't know anything about VoiceMe is a platform run by a man called Dylan Tolano. It is a comic platform who basically has built his career off of making isekai and ORV and solo leveling-esque comics as like a job, right? It started out as a startup by a 20-year-old, and it's still being run by that 20-year-old now, about 23 or 25. Still a young person running this entire platform. They've managed to raise multiple rounds of funding through the use of associating themselves with cryptocurrency companies, the use of AI internally as a business for some of their to create some of their comics, and the fact that, quite honestly, a lot of people just need a job and they offer a job, and it matches Webtoon's pay. It's never above it, but it matches it. Yet the CEO did associate with crypto to the point where a lot of his employees and people he closely associated with publicly were involved in a cryptocurrency company. And they basically continue to raise money on the premise of like some kind of new shift to their business, either somehow involving crypto people, which they did at one point, or somehow involving one of their comics. I think it's Mad Game or whatever, is based on a crypto game. And also involving AI in the creation process of their comics, both internally and with one of the releases that they did recently, which is called Isekai Me, which is an AI generating tool that turns into an isekai character. Now, all of the art for this tool seems to be coming from internal artists that they have hired for an internal tool. And we're going to talk more deeper about this. Isekai Me is a veneer on top of what their actual goal internally as a company is. They have a tool inside that is made to AI generate comic panels, character art, and anything they need for the creation of comic. And we've seen them use AI generation before, specifically in, I think, the comic Mad Game. Not Mad Game. It's either Mad Game or Devil's Butler. It doesn't matter. What matters is we've seen them use AI in their comics before. This is not a new thing for them to do. But what they're doing right now is they're internally training their own AI for comic creation. And they're doing so by hiring artists externally, or at least approaching artists externally, for the sake of getting them into the program to be involved in essentially the training of the AI, right? I'm not going to reveal more than that. I unfortunately cannot reveal more than that. I can't reveal who is involved or anything else. What I can say to you, though, is that they are getting consent. So for anyone who's like ethical AI, they're getting consent. They refuse to divulge what the base model of their service is to me, but maybe I just didn't ask the right question or ask the right people, or I didn't push hard on it, right? I didn't go through any official communication methods for this. When I spoke to official communication, they would only talk to me about Isekai Me, their public service, and not their internal tool. And they told me there was no other internal tool, is what they said to me. They are getting permission from these artists, and they are paying them, but they're paying them to essentially train their own replacements. These artists are regularly being approached with that they basically have to train this up with their art, use the tool, and then use it to make something of some kind. I don't know what the end goal of what they're going to make is. I just know that it's training, and I think eventual creation seems to be the path that they're taking people down. It's not some deep evil, but what I think it denotes is the fact that, like, even VoiceMe is doing it, and we know Webtoon's been doing behavior like this for a while. Naver's been researching AI internally, and we know that Webtoon has been engaging in behavior using AI of some kind for the comic creation process. Who knows how deep it's getting internally for the use in creating new comics for Webtoon. But we do know that, like, the AI ties between Naver CEO, between Naver employees, Webtoon's founders, JK, and Lihan Lee, and other people in the Webtoon game, and the AI industry is deep. And in fact, one of our Korean news things talks about Naver's deeper investment into, let me see if it's this one. Is it this one? No, it's not that one. It's this one. Naver's deeper investment into 12 Labs, a global AI company, right? And so this is not a surprising behavior. What is not surprising, but what is interesting to denote is that VoiceMe, a company of much smaller size, is making moves in that direction as well. And they're doing so rapidly. They're doing so rapidly because their focus, and the focus of a lot of companies right now, is getting enough content to not lose interest. So this is the thing, this is where I'm gonna break out the Paint a little bit. Hold on, is there like an online thing I can use for Paint? Let me just look something up. Paint online. Sure, let's use this. Anyway, so like, if you're like wondering, if you're gonna ask, maybe you're thinking about it, then why does this matter? Why does this matter? Well, right now, in the comic space, right? Let's just call this attention. And let's just call this, that's the amount of attention, let's just call this content variety. Right now, in the comic landscape, it seems that like your content variety is not actually important to your attention. Like what people are experiencing is this. There's in this kind of like raise like this, and then this kind of like fall, not that deep, it's not that deep. It's more of a fall like here, right? Essentially, it's not about having the widest variety of content that is attracting people. It's about having enough variety of content and honing most of your content into very specific sections that is attracting people. And we kind of know this. We know this because, you know, romance is really popular. We know it's because isekais are really popular. We know it's because the Korean manhwa style of solo leveling is really popular. But the platforms have known this and are trying to figure out how to capitalize on this. And AI is the way they want to do that, right? With AI, you can make an infinite number of solo leveling. Something that Manta figured out a while ago as well, if you just double, triple, quadruple down in this one specific area, you are guaranteed to get more people who are just gonna stick on your app and pay more money. Because right now, a lot of people in the Webtoon game, I don't know if they're right, think that we have exhausted the audience growth, right? We've exhausted the number of additional people we can get into the industry. So what you wanna focus on essentially is having the content variety like this, right? Where you're at this peak point, and whatever brought you the most audience when you hit this peak point, you triple and quadruple down until you have billions of solo leveling. You have infinite leveling. Thank you, Quanto, for that joke. You have infinite leveling. Now, the thing that some of us who are weaker are gonna say is, Nen, wouldn't that oversaturate the environment and make it so that, I'm sure someone actually did say that. The thing that some of us who are weaker are gonna say is like, Nen, wouldn't that saturate the environment and lead to an issue where essentially there's too many of the same thing? You're correct, but the thing is, reader behavior has consistently shown that like readers just want more of the same shit. They don't care about experiencing new content, and there could be a lot of reasons for it. I'm assuming most of it is just younger readers like the thing that they like, and they don't really want that to be interrupted, right? But a lot of the reader behavior is they will continually read the same shit. And we've known this for a while, but it's becoming more and more apparent, I think, to the platforms, to the creators, and to the economy as a whole, right? Ever since The Gamer came out, that's a deep drop, that's a deep cut. It's a deep cut for this current industry, referencing The Gamer in 2025. Ever since The Gamer came out, the parent company, the company that makes The Gamer, Golem Factory, has pretty much made the exact same guy getting video game powers, but with magic story over and over again. And it has worked for them. And it has worked for them a lot, right? They basically built their entire company off of that. Red Ice did that too, DNC did that too. And we see that as the creation of webtoons slowly becomes this more mainstream thing in our current environment. We see this behavior proliferate down, right? And the platforms are basically trying to get ahead of that. They're basically going, fuck it, let's not wait for the creators to figure this out and do it themselves. If we have AI, we can create infinite leveling, we can create as many solo leveling ripoffs as we want to. And that's the premise. That's the entire premise, right? And so that's why we're talking about the AI thing, why we're talking about it internally. Last bits of information on this. If you are getting approached by Webtoon, by VoiceMe, by Webtoon to train their internal AI, I'm gonna say something to you that you might think is controversial. Look upon your career and look upon how much money you have and figure out one of your art styles that you absolutely fucking hate and take the job. I'm not going to be the one standing between you and money. I think it's bad to take the job, but the reality is some other morally bankrupt person is going to take the job. What I would like is that you don't starve. I don't want you to grift, but frankly, if everyone's grifting, I would rather you don't like die hungry while some dickhead gets money for it, who's probably worse at art than you. But at the same time, I want you to understand fundamentally, if your job is to make it in the comics industry, VoiceMe is not the way. The only person who has succeeded from this fucking platform has been Brandon Chen. And he didn't really succeed by being good on this platform. He succeeded by stepping on everyone who ever worked with him and climbing up the ladder. And whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's up to you. But it fundamentally shows that this is not the place. If you want a career in comics, where you are making money with comics as like a full-time job, this website is not the place. I genuinely don't think about it. I don't think that. Really don't think that. Okay? And they've contacted people. They contacted people internally. I think I heard they contacted people externally. So I know this is something that they've done. I don't know how far I went, and I don't really care. Anyway, but yeah, we're about to get that. Also, expect more AI coloring. If you guys saw the Country Bumpkin Webtoon verticalization, that is, I believe, fully AI colored, or at least partially AI colored. So expect more AI coloring to be coming as Webtoon wants to double, triple, and quadruple dip into their manga market for the vertical scroll content environment. That's where I want to like leave that piece of content. Any questions you can put to me now. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna like prep myself for the next topic. But yeah. Oh, the Country Bumpkin webcomic. I don't know if you know the Country Bumpkin Swordmaster. It's like a old manga. It's like a pretty old manga at this point. Very popular. Yeah. Full Metal Alchemist was probably AI colored. I didn't look into that one. I only looked into the Country Bumpkin one. But I don't doubt that Full Metal Alchemist was AI colored. I don't doubt that at all. I didn't mean to pin you. Sorry, my pin tool is like kind of broken right now. So all my AI stuff, I'm not saying my AI stuff, all my chat stuff is broken now. So give me a bit. Also, like it's not entirely AI colored. It's partially AI colored. From what I understand, someone actually does the coloring, the finishing and coloring. Also, I want to just say really quickly, one last thing. A lot of idiots are going to be saying the word AI agent to you. They just mean automated workflow, because a lot of people are stupid as fuck. I just want you to know that, because I've had like 100 people say this to me. Is it still worth to someone become a Webtoon original? Alafemi, again, it's always good to see you. It's crazy that you're here. Like I say after your whole name every time. Anyway, Olafemi, yeah, I think it's still worth becoming a Webtoon original. Webtoon has this one really good thing that none of the other platforms have right now, and it's legitimacy. Legitimacy is what gets you fucking contracts, my guy, right? My girl. Femi is also a girl's name. Anyway, like, legitimacy is what gets you contracts, right? And so you need to basically put yourself in the position where you've shown that you can handle a professional contract. And, you know, for all the problems with Webtoon, Webtoon has some diehards who have basically had the same, like who've been working with Webtoon the whole time. I think a lot about Are-chan, who creates Senorita Cometa. This is her third comic with Webtoon, and she's just done it. Just pays her bills. She's just worked for this company forever, right? She used to work a worse job, and she basically went to Webtoon, which is also a very stressful job, but for her, way easier. And she's just kind of been coasting, enjoying her life, getting paid well. Right? And for a lot of people, that's good enough. So I would recommend, if Webtoon offers you a contract for any reason, that is not a bullshit contract where all they do is offer you like a little bit of, or offer you like a very small amount of money to take your comic and then make it an original because it's completed. So the person who I'm calling out with that exact statement, remember that unless you're that person, unless they give you that kind of offer, understand that it's worth having, it's worth getting, it's worth working with them. And remember, you can always fucking negotiate. You can always fucking negotiate. They're working with companies right now who are using AI to make their comics. They're working with people right now outside of the typical Webtoon creator sphere who are promising Webtoon content, and Webtoon is giving them 50% fast pass. For context, most people I've heard get only 25% of their fast pass. So Webtoon's giving them 50% fast pass revenue. Webtoon's giving them way more money. The thing is, these people have lawyers. It takes them less time to negotiate, right? Because lawyer talk to lawyer talk to lawyer. But For us, we don't got lawyers. So, but you should still be negotiating. If your contract takes a year and a half to complete, fucking let it take a year and a half. Don't ever put yourself in a position where you're begging for a contract so soon that it fucks you over. I've been there. It's not a good place to be. Okay? Okay. What if you are a lawyer? If you are a lawyer, then none of this fucking mattered to you. If you're already a lawyer, none of this mattered to you. Like, legitimately, just fucking do your, like, don't get blindsided and do good work. And if you can't trust yourself to do that, hire a lawyer. Like, the work, like, don't get me wrong. The dumbest person to represent, a man who represents himself as a fool. But at the end of the day, if you've got the skills and you have good objectivity, then go for it. Like, really do. But you know that you lack industry experience to be able to actually negotiate for yourself. You know? And be aware of that ahead of time. Anyway, that's kind of everything on that VoiceMe AI thing and like what it means for the industry and what the behavior is calling to. Now I really want to talk about the Eisners. Let's talk about the Eisners, please. Oh, my favorite thing of the year. The Eisners. So this year we had a couple Eisners that came out. There was a bunch of digital comic stuff, but it was all from Europe Comics. That doesn't mean anything to us. But what matters, actually, you know what? The thing about the entertainment lawyers, Gleamy, I am looking for one to interview and talk to. So that's important to bring up. Wait a second. Where did you get nominated? Where'd you get nominated, Dorburp? In what? You never told me. Because the news section is gone. Are you in the academic scholarly work? Where do they get, for what? The news section is gone, no? Oh, they brought it back? No, wait. Hold the fuck on. Hold the fuck on. No, I've seen it already. Hold the fuck on. I need to be clear. Guys, they said, I'm not fucking with you. They said that they were taking off comics journalism from the fucking Eisners and it was never coming back. What do you mean? I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I have the ability to submit myself for this shit. I'm so mad. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Anyway. Would I have submitted myself? Hell no. I don't think I'm good enough to win, but I should have. I should have at least tried. I have the form. Oh, actually, I've been sitting on this for like 7 months. I was in this for like 7 months, like no fucking joke. Unironically, sitting on this for like literally months and months and months and months and months. I put it in the Discord and I think everyone completely forgot about it because I didn't really like push the conversation deeper. Where the fuck did I put that? Is it in there? I'm looking for, there's a document I have that I put somewhere in the server. I'm just gonna search the entire server. There's a document I've been sitting on for like months, like literal months. I have the Eisner nomination document. Yeah, I have the document, basically like the document that tells you how to submit for an Eisner nomination. I have it like somewhere. I'm so fucking upset about the periodicals returning because I could have submitted myself. I have the document. I have the email of the guy you submit to for the Eisners. I could have just emailed him. I could have emailed him. I could have been like, hey, I'm new. Let me in, dog. But like, fuck no, I guess. Fuck me for asking for anything. It's too late. It's too late. Nominations are over. Like a while ago. Ain't no one gonna nominate me. What the fuck? Hold on, wait. Let me find this document. Me literally interrupting the entire stream to do this one action for myself. You'll nominate me? You're so cute. Thank you. Like, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna get this document. Where the fuck did I put it? I can't find it. It's somewhere on my computer. I can't find it. Fuck it. I'm just gonna let it go. I should not be nominated. I'm dog shit. I'm literally dog shit media. Do not nominate me. Anyway, if any of you actually nominate me, I think I would cry. But also, I would tell you, I would put you in jail. I can't find the document, unfortunately. You're never going to see the thing I've been sitting on for months. Anyway, let's talk about the Eisners. Back to the Eisners. So before I was rudely interrupted with the reality that they brought back my favorite part. Let's say the worst part. My favorite part of the Eisners. This year, we had 5 Eisner nominations. There's actually a document where you can nominate yourself. Basically, the only way to get nominated for an Eisner is your publisher gets sent an email from the Eisner Association, from the San Diego Comic-Con people. I don't know what their name is. They email your publisher. Your publisher can then put down that information and send it across. But they don't send it to every publisher, but they try to send it to as many as they can. And it needs to be one that they recognize. Basically, if they recognize you as a publisher, you get the right to be able to nominate people for an Eisner. That's how that works. Yeah. So if you're an unpublished person, it's actually very hard to get in. So the webcomic section is very interesting because it's people who manage to get themselves in a good position where they can communicate with people who work on the Eisners and get themselves nominated and nominate their own works. Self-published, well, webcomics is for self-published. The Eisners does not deal with regular self-publishing. I'm sure there's other ways to get into the Eisners, by the way. I'm not saying there's only one way, but this is the one way I know is always happening, to be clear. Anyway, so this year's Eisners had Accidental Underground by Christian Giroux, Life After Life by Joshua Barkman, Mother Lover by Lindy Ishiro, Practical Defense Piracy by Tony Cliff, and Rigsby, Wisconsin by S.E. Case. Two of those are actually Iron Circus comics, and one of those is Joshua Barkman, the False Sneeze guy. We love Joshua Barkman here. Anyway, what is interesting is there is no Webtoon nomination in the entirety of the Eisners. There is none. I actually checked to be sure. There's not even like a book nomination for Webtoon. Webtoon is not nominated anywhere. And that might mean one of a couple of things. It might mean that Webtoons did not get past the selection process for the nomination stage, or Webtoon did not nominate anything. That's interesting because Webtoon has nominated basically something every year, and they basically almost exclusively nominated Lore Olympus. But because Lore Olympus is completed, it might be Webtoon's way of signifying that they do not believe any of their creator-owned comics are good enough to be nominated. And I have asked people if they asked to be nominated, and one or two people I know have directly asked to be nominated. That seems to be a decision that's made so high up the chain, probably with the head of content, that there will be, if they don't see your content as good enough to nominate, they won't, even if they own it. Webtoon will not nominate it, even if they own it, if they don't believe in it. They don't have faith in their own originals, it seems like. Or they did nominate something, but it didn't make it past the selection process. But the thing is, I doubt that, because Webtoon is one of the only major web labels. Tapas isn't in there, Webtoon isn't in there. Like, I feel like they put the Webtoon nominations in there just cause. Can people just nominate them? Yeah, I think I don't remember how nominations. I only know the nominations from the company. I don't know if there's any people nominations. I think that I doubt that they would not put Webtoon in there if Webtoon nominated something. So it tells me that like Webtoon did not nominate anything, and I think that's fucking weird behavior, right? I feel like does that have anything to do with them going public? They might be too busy. I don't think that's an unrealistic thing, Linda. But like I don't know if that's enough to stop you from like nominations are important to them. I was directly told by Webtoon's head of communication that the Eisners, an award winning is important to them. But also, that was the year that Webtoon also brought out their own Webtoonies, their own internal Webtoon award. It feels like, to an extent, they either forgot, which could be completely possible. They can be an incompetent company. They don't see their content as valuable enough to nominate, which is saying a lot about their content as they slowly drift into using more international, pre-existing, pre-published content to fill up their library. Or, and the thing that bugs me, I guess, the thing that would, I know Ella wasn't the only comic they nominated, but there was only, I think Nevermore was in there once, and another one was in there the other time, but Lore Olympus was basically there every time, no matter what happened. But like, one of the thing that's actually making me think that they didn't do it, and they didn't do it on purpose, is because I think to some extent, Webtoon is trying to divorce themselves from the established industry to an extent. Like, they want to exist alongside comics, but they want to exist at the endpoint for comics. Like, in a Webtoon world that goes exactly how Webtoon wants, Webtoon gets to basically decide who wins the actual like the real comic award. Do you know what I mean? Like, if Netflix did a Netflix Awards today, right? Netflix did a Netflix Awards today, they would probably overshadow to an extent, the Oscars, right? Because a lot of movies and films and everything comes out on Netflix. So if Netflix just started awarding people on Netflix, they would probably overshadow the Oscars. And I've heard other platforms talk about making their own awards. I don't know if they do. I don't know if Netflix does. I'm just following a line, please. And I've heard other comic companies talk about making their own awards for the sake of the exact same thing, becoming above the industry by making yourself the new standard, right? Becoming a standard is very valuable because it puts you in a position where you are untouchable, right? It's no longer, how do I put it? For a couple of years, Comixology was untouchable. Comixology was the only serious place for comic creators. They wouldn't even go to fucking Webtoon. Even when Webtoon was page comic allowing, like back in 2014-15, when Webtoon accepted page comics, comic creators wouldn't even go there. They wouldn't even look at it. Not serious. I remember people at an actual publishing company, and an actual like book publishing company, laughing when they found out that someone I know worked on Webtoon, because that's how unseriously the industry took it. So fundamentally, I think that they want to set themselves as some kind of mental standard, because by becoming a standard, by becoming the place you go to learn who the best of whatever is, by becoming the Jeff Keighley Game Awards of comics, you basically put yourself in a position where like nobody can overturn you. No one can say, don't put your content on Webtoon. It's monopoly core. It's literally monopoly core shit. And these are monopolistic behaviors. You position yourself in the right place. You acquire a ton of content without actually needing to use that content. You convince established industry leaders and members to give you their content to be republished under your name, under the guise for a significant amount of money that they can't say no to. And then you slowly like migrate people over. Yeah, it's like when Disney stopped going to Comic-Con and started their own con. It's like when Blizzard stopped going to Gamescom and E3 and just made BlizzCon. It's that. That's the behavior. And I think that's the mentality, because I think that they might still do a Webtoonies award, and they've got their big fucking contest. So like everything is lining up for them to basically do big announcement for the entire end of this year, right? And it might be their first attempt to try. Or they just fucking forgot. I want you guys to know that I'm very willing to accept the narrative that they just fucking forgot, okay? But I also know that this behavior is telling, because they've always wanted to be this, and then they're doing this, which tells me that they might be doing it for the reasons I've mentioned previously. I don't know. Do you think I'm blowing smoke up your ass? Like, be for real with me. Guys, I think we have a good relationship. I think you guys are very willing to tell me I'm a fucking moron, and I love that about you. Tell me, am I being a fucking moron? Yeah, no, Linda, the thing is, I agree with you. The physical comics, they could have put it, I think it would come under like the best collection or whatever, or they could have done that. They could have done that, right? They could have put it towards the Eisner. They could have done anything to put it towards the Eisners, but I think they just don't see the Eisners. Like, they're basically saying, we are the measure of quality, not the fucking Eisners. Fuck the Eisners. When you win a Webtoonie, it should be as valuable as winning an Eisner. When we sell books, it's because it's good. They want to have that natural, do you know what I mean? I just slammed my table 3 times. I don't know if that made sense to anybody. Okay, cool. I'm not full of shit. I wonder, I feel like I'm blowing smoke up your ass when I talk about this. Because sometimes I talk about industry news and I'm like, I feel fucking crazy. I feel legitimately crazy. Like I don't know how else to say it. But yeah, well, I know that this is a bit of a depressing story, so I'm going to lighten this all up for all of us. Everybody, Pay attention. Wake the fuck up, samurai. Stop looking at your fucking tablet. We've got a city to burn. Let's read a comic together, gang. I have something for us to read as a community. Me and you together. We're gonna read. Look at the fucking screen. Type in chat. We're reading. This is The State of Culture by Alex Graham. No, but Linda, the difference between Webtoon doing this and DC doing this, just to touch on Linda's point, Linda saying it's like DC having a DC Awards expecting it to be global. The difference between Webtoon doing this and DC doing this is that DC doesn't care about comics as much. They care about they care about comics, but not as much as Webtoon does. It's their whole media industry. And they're starting from the back, not the front. DC already had comics and they're like, let's go make movies, and they kind of lost focus. And Webtoon's like, I'm making web novels so I can make movies. So I think because of their trajectory, they have more of a reason to give a shit and more of a reason to succeed. Anyway, let's read a comic. Clap, Clap, Clap by Alex Graham. Oh, they're all clapping, everyone. Thank you, mediocre cartoonist. Thank you, everyone. Must be pretty groundbreaking stuff. Okay, you read it. Cal Arts adjacent character design. I hate the statement Cal Arts adjacent character design. Like that doesn't mean anything. That's a meaningless sentence. Okay. Like the problem with me, people who say that as an opener, shows a lack of understanding, but whatever. Unclear pacing. Not sure who is speaking from one panel to the next. Dialogue could have been written by a middle school kid. Amateur sense of comic language. Completely vapid. An interesting storyline that abruptly ends. This is garbage. People still hate on Carl Arts because people are dumb. You guys really enjoy this shit? Okay. You see, if you can't see it, I'm going to see if I can zoom in. Their shirt says white guilt, and this is the first thing that made me think this person's comic is racist. And I'm going to talk about their opinion in a bit, but this is a racist thing to do. Like, I don't care if you have some like deeper conversation to be making. By putting the word white guilt on someone's shirt and you're framing this conversation as that the only reason that they like the content is because it was made by a POC, and they're afraid to be caught for saying they like this thing they don't actually like, because you ended by saying that they actually secretly don't like the comic, right? And you build they build this narrative. They have a blog post. I read the blog post. They build this Alex Graham person who I thought was a dude, but I'm learning as a lady. It might be a they, them. I don't give a shit, quite honestly. I couldn't give a fuck. I'm learning this person has a problem with the way that, like, they have a real argument. The reality is that, like, sometimes when you are a professional and when you are a good, highly effective creator, right, it feels fucking weird when you see things that win awards. I've said this here before. I've openly said I fucking hate Let's Play. I've said that. Look, you guys know this. This is not a secret about who I am as a person. But fundamentally, I understand why people like Let's Play. I understand what people enjoy about it. I think when you get really into the weeds of comic creation or any media whatsoever, you sometimes lose the objectivity of what would make an audience happy. And it makes you feel like these people like this for alien reasons. And I can understand this is me doing the charitable take, because I'm about to do the uncharitable take. Because the charitable take is you're just so deep in the weeds, you don't get what the typical person wants. And that's the charitable take. The uncharitable take is that you live in the absolute fear that you think you're very good because you've worked so hard on this. But quite honestly, you're so deeply removed from the average person. It's the reason why you don't get much traction. And as such, it's also the reason why you cannot understand what people really like. So the only way you can rationalize it is that people like things because they are guilty they feel some need to prove some kind of social virtue signaling. And you're saying that because it's the only way that you can keep yourself from realizing that maybe the reason you're not good, the reason people don't like you is because you're not good. Like, that's what it is, right? Like, those are the only two takes. The charitable take is you're so deep in the weeds, you're far removed. The uncharitable take is you are a small and malevolent piece of shit. I don't know. I don't know really what to say about that. And I don't care what the comments, I don't care what anyone says about this person's comic. I just wanted to put that forward. I want to show you guys. I want to have a conversation about it because I think this person is deeply hurt by something. I don't know what it is. Jenny says in the chat, let's be honest, working hard on a comic doesn't mean what you make is good. Like, it's good that you're putting in the effort, but effort doesn't always result in a masterpiece. I agree. Also, the reality is that what audiences like and what makes them feel good is very, the audiences like and what makes them feel good is very much based on the current era. You know, growing up, and I think Jenny and I are roughly the same age, I think. Growing up, one of the things that was really popular for me as a kid was like, not you call it, hero's journey stories. It was the hero who's actually like secretly not the hero. Like, he's a normal guy. He's a normal guy, but he's actually the hero, right? And then, like, as I got older, like, I'm seeing the young people feeling very disadvantaged and powerless, and they're all deeply embedded in power fantasies. There was an era in, I think, a lot of our lives in the chat where power fantasy content was seen as mediocre and shit. Like, I think a lot of the people in the chat here can acknowledge, and tell me if I'm wrong. Was there an era in your reading of books and comics and novels that people thought power fantasy stories were, like, terrible? Like, just by default? Am I fucking crazy? I think I'm right. Right? Like the Mary Sue, Gary Sue era. Everyone was like, oh, it's a Mary Sue, Gary Sue. And now we literally have entire genres built around this. And it's a cycle. And Linda's right. You know, Linda, our resident wise old person. No, but Linda's an old. But Linda's right. It's a cycle, right? It's a process. It's a thing that happens as the audiences change and the community shifts and the desires of people shift. And so when you say I don't like, when you say this reads as what's that fucking meme? That meme from Simpsons where like he's like it's the kids who are wrong. Like, it reads like that. We read something for a certain amount of time and then got tired of it and want something different for the popularity shift. I agree. Like, that's what this is, right? Yeah. Am I so out of touch? No. It is the children who are wrong. The kids want power fantasies, baby. And like, you know, I talk about this a lot, and I've mentioned this creator a lot, but like the three most impactful comic creators in my life have made vastly different things. And I mean my personal life. Like Zoe Thorogood with her stories. Bye, Farrell. Zoe Thorogood with her stories impacted me deeply at a time in my life when I was seeking meaning in my direction. Momo Gigi's stories impacted me deeply in a time when I was trying to find joy in an actual, like, in following someone and respecting the hell out of their work and like reading deeply into every comic that they make, right? And like, you know, Uru-chan's comics, for better and worse, affected me deeply because I'm deeply involved. I love. It's been a love-hate relationship of watching somebody who I deeply respect make something I dislike greatly. Right? Like it's those are the two most impactful comics in my life, and they're all vastly different because I've met them at vastly different points in my adult life as a person growing up and changing, etc. Right? And so imagine what the kids are feeling. Imagine what the media is expecting. So if you have this opinion, you write this shitty comic, Alex, and I don't think you're ever going to see this, but I want to say it now. If you write this shitty comic, Alex, it says that you are so deeply out of touch with modern culture, with the people in around you, that the only reaction you have is to get mad because the thing you don't understand is winning. And like, I think that's sad, and I think maybe you should quit for a bit. Like, you know, a couple of months, take a break. Just kind of get your head out of the sand, because this is the behavior of a sycophant. Is the word sycophant? Is that the word I'm looking for? Is it sycophant? Maybe it's a different word. I don't know what the word is. But this is the behavior of someone who's not well. Anyway, I thought I'd talk about it. I think it's funny to point and laugh. Also, actually, the part that is going to get me canceled. Guys, so I found out that Alex changed the image on their website when this all kicked off, right? When this all kicked off, Alex changed the image on their website to a picture of Goatsy. Now, I want to say this. I want to say this very clearly. Changed a picture of Goatsy. I want to say this very clearly. I think that's really fucking funny. I think that's really fucking funny. I think it's really fucking funny No, it's I don't think it's some guy. I think it literally is Goatsy. Let me look again. Let me see if it's Goatsy. Hold on, wait. Someone send me a picture. No, this is Goatsy. I think that's Goatsy. I need to send it to my foremost Goatsy expert who will tell me if this is Goatsy. I have one of those, yes. But like this, I think it's Goatsy. And you know what? I think that's really funny. Don't get me wrong. This is still the actions of an unwell person. Unwell person. But I think changing your website to show Goatsy to people is really fucking funny. It's really fucking funny. And I hope it's Goatsy and not like just a stranger being put on there without consent. But I think it's really fucking funny. And I'm perfectly fine with this. I'm perfectly fine with someone being this toxic. Because whatever. Like, fundamentally, let's just admit something to ourselves right now. This comic does not fucking matter. This comic doesn't matter. This person doesn't matter, right? So if you're running around tweeting at them or trying to get them to feel bad, they're not going to fucking feel bad. They don't give a shit. They just openly were racist. They don't give a shit. I don't even think they know they were racist. I don't even think they actually know that they did something racist. They don't give a fuck, right? They don't care. They don't care. So like, don't waste your time yelling at them, arguing at them, brigading their comment. Is truly a useless action. So like they're right. This is overblown. Okay? What is another racist? Like, what is another racist? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, do you think that the people you respect are good? That the people who make content you respect are always good people? Like, do you live in a bubble? I'm not trying to call you out specifically. I'm sorry. That may come off like very rude. But like, I'm so baffled when people are shocked that their faves are actually kind of shit. Like, yeah, that's like how this works. Sometimes your fave is a Nazi. Just don't learn about them. Don't learn about them. You know, like, one of my favorite level designers is a child predator. One of my literal favorite level designers is a child predator. And I used to play a ton of Call of Duty. Okay, I'm about to reveal it. You guys will know exactly what I'm talking about if you know enough streamer lore. I used to play a fuck ton of Call of Duty growing up. I was deep in Call of Duty. I love level design. When I wanted to get into game design, Call of Duty was actually my favorite thing to talk about and talk about getting into level and game design. And then my favorite level designer is fucking Dr. Disrespect. It's Dr. fucking Disrespect. He like made all the levels I like in Call of Duty. And then he went to become a streamer. So like, what the fuck am I supposed to say? Like, what can I say? Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get me? Like, I found out it was Dr. Disrespect like 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, he was a Call of Duty game developer. Everything, like the most upsetting thing about Dr. Disrespect is that there was a really short period of his career where everything he said was true. He is 6'8". He did work on Call of Duty. He was like one of the best level designers in the game to ever fucking do it. You know, he is a professional. He's like a good gamer. I hate that about him, right? I hate all these things because I found out one day that it was him. And then like last year, I found out about everything else. So how do you think I feel? The way I dropped that on all of you is fucking crazy. I'm never gonna get that moment ever again in my life. I wanted to be clear. I don't fucking like the guy. I think he's a piece of shit. But I also want to be honest with you. That is how I found out. Right? Like, I want you to see this from my perspective. Okay? So like, sometimes your fave is a piece of shit. And you know what? You just need to be okay with it. You just need to be okay with it. You need to be like, I bought the game 15 years ago. I'm moving on. Unsubscribe from their Patreon, but download all the content first type shit. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just need to be clear about this. Again, for the people who are leaving YouTube, one, that's really mean. I don't fucking like Dr. Disrespect. Don't put me on the same level as that. But you get my point. My point is very simple, right? Like, sometimes your fave is a piece of shit. Just stop supporting them. Just take their content, maybe even disseminate it on the internet, and then move on. Like, you don't have to engage with this person. You don't have to fucking talk to them. You don't have to tweet at them. You don't have to post on their fucking live journal. Just move on. I don't know. Maybe you think I'm being weak, but I just think that sometimes some people, like normal people, are not worth talking to about the problems of the world. Most normal people who express shit opinions like this are not worth fighting. That's my genuine belief. Like, I think this is the opinion you bring to, like, if you have a problem with them, I think you tell the Eisners, you tell Fantagraphics, right? Fantagraphics and the Eisners will deal with this person as they see fit. Maybe they keep working with them, maybe they don't. But that tells you where your allegiances lie as a person. And you move on. I see no reason to fucking talk to this person. Like, I didn't DM them for comment. I didn't talk to them. I didn't send them anything. I don't give a fuck. You know, like, I don't think this person is worth even looking at. I wanted to talk about it because I think it's funny. And I wanted to make sure we talked about it, name and shamed, and moved on. So it's on stream. But yeah, that's my life. I feel like every couple of streams, I say something that really breaks the stream, and I'm very proud of myself. I've never been more happy with my ability to consistently be annoying, be weird to you guys. It's my favorite fucking quality of myself. I'm so proud. Oh, so proud of myself today. My favorite level designer is a child predator. Everyone's like, who's your favorite level designer? It's fucking Dr. Disrespect. Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, sometimes IG blue sky Twitter discourses for discourse's sake. How is it weird? How is it weird to say the quiet part out loud? I think for a lot of people, they've never truly admitted that to themselves. They've never truly admitted that to themselves, and they're doing that right now. And doing that is very important. Anyway, I want to talk about Global Comics really quickly. It's a very short piece of news. Let's get to the Global Comics news for the day. I'm just going to tap on it. This comes directly from a friend of mine. This is Kevin. He's my friend, the director of community of Global Comics. I want to be clear that at the end of the day, even though I no longer work there, the people there are my friends. There are people there who are my friends, who I respect, and who have been very instrumental to my life. And I don't want you to not know that when I take their word seriously. I also want you to know my bias, right? I'm going to read everything Kevin says, and then you're going to be like, why do you believe him? And it's because I believe Kevin. Okay, he's not a man who lies. Anyway, so this is director of community at Global Comics, and they're currently developing an indie channel. So let's talk a little bit about channels and Global Comics, right? So on Global Comics, they have this system called channels. Look over here on the left side. These are channels, right? They have a Toons channel, a Boom Studios channel, Dark Horse DC, whatever. And Global Comics is seeking to add another channel focusing on surfacing indie content. Now, the way they've set up their app and their service and everything really revolves around this channel system, and that this channel system is the way that you discover content. And when you go on Global Comics, you can see, I think you can kind of see why. How do I fucking do this now? The website's changed so much that I don't remember anything. I need to navigate to the old version of the website, and there's a way to do it, but I don't remember how to do it. Anyway, what matters is this. Look, these are the top 10 most popular comics. Popularity is actually a very important internal metric of Global Comics. So they do actually care about this. Top 10 most popular comics. And even though almost everything at the top is published by Invincible, at the end of the day, comics like Ben 10 Legacy, The Dragon SS Sit, Dr. Megalo, which is popular now because Deltarune just came out, and one or two other things are very popular. But you can also see that most of this is still DC Image IDW pilled as fuck. Almost everything here is still publisher content. And Global Comics has had a very poor focus on publisher content. I don't think it's ongoing. I think it just came out. Yeah, it only has the one chapter. This is the other problem with Global Comics. A lot of comics have one chapter and nothing else. So just want that to be aware. This is not from official Ben 10, by the way. It's just someone else's comic. Anyway. What matters is that Global Comics has only been a publisher platform, and it looks like this is the direction they want to take to actually incorporate more of the indie market into their industry. Do I agree with this being the way that it, do I agree that this will work? No. But do I think it's worth trying? Yeah. Fundamentally, I think Global Comics has positioned itself pretty harshly against the industry. while they have supported the American indie comic publishers, people who already make their own floppies and regular books who are looking for a place to go, or people who make more adult-oriented webtoons and just need somewhere where their content can be read, Global Comics has put itself in squarely for servicing those people. I think fundamentally it's alienated the majority of indie content creators, like actual indie content creators, right? Especially with the fact that, like, how do I put this? Even though you're right next to big published content, it doesn't seem like being next to big published content leads to more reads. It just doesn't seem to be doing that. And so it's going to be interesting to see whether this new feed is going to influence any actual behavioral change. Again, I think that they're actually doing the work for this. I think that Kevin is and a friend of mine who works there, our crumbs are pushing forward the initiative of doing this very hard. And I'm sure that it's going to do what they want it to do. The question is whether what they wanted to do is going to be effective. And I don't truly believe that, but I'm also going to be the first person who's going to congratulate them if they do achieve that, just to be clear. Yeah, that's really it. I thought it would be useful to know because, again, I think it's important to say. If Global Comics really becomes the new Comixology, then it could be kind of a good thing, I think. It pull in all the folks who only ever read the big ones and might start giving the indies a shot. I agree, too. I think Global Comics being in the new Comixology is a perfectly fine thing. That's what they want to be. It's not what I wanted to work there for, but that's a perfectly fine thing. And I think it puts them in a good position. And I think it kind of separates the content of published content away from the establishment. And it might make Webtoon less likely to work with established content as those things go to Global Comics more as a Comixology alternative. And I think that's a good separation for the industry, just to be clear. Yeah. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm not going to walk away. I just want to talk to you guys about something interesting that is personal to me. It's about me and the things I'm working on. Okay, this is a part of the stream where I tell you about my personal projects. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my big Webtoon data collection. So we finally collected all the originals data for every originals Webtoon. We did it like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. It cost us like a lot of money. Again, so if you're very willing to give me money on Patreon, please remember to do that. Patreon.com/Webcomics Hub. Anyway, one of the things I wanted to tell you about is how many comments are on every single originals comic? Who can guess the total number of comments on every originals comic? I really want to hear it. Who can tell me the total number of comments on every originals comic? I can tell you. This includes FastPass, by the way. I want to know if anyone can guess the number. It's a big number. Hundreds of thousands is actually too low. 50K is too low. This is on every single original comic, every single original Webtoon. Who can tell me the total number of comments on every original Webtoon? 500,000 is too low. I want to see if there's one more guess. 3 mil, 10 mil, these are all too low. The number is 70 million comments across what is essentially like 2,000 comics. 100 million is slightly too high, but that was the closest. Because of Price is Right game, the Price is Right numbers, 2 full wins. Price is Right rules, 2 full wins. But anyway, yeah, 100, no, not per comic. Per comic, it works out to about 50,000, something like that. It works out to like, it's not a very high number. Let me actually that's actually completely incorrect math. Let's do that again. 70, 1, 2, 3, divided by 2,000, 35,000 comments per comic, give or take. You also want to know that of that 70 million, this is not a joke, about 1+ million of those comments, I think it's almost 10 million of those comments, but I think it's actually more like 1 million of those comments are just Tower of God. 1 million of them are, like we know guaranteed 1 million of them are just Tower of God. 17 million is the total. 17,702,696 as of the 29th of May when we finished our collection. But I want you to know that 1 million of those are just Tower of God. 1 million of those are just Tog, nothing else. And I think that's the funniest shit. I think that's the single funniest shit. There's going to be more we're going to be using this data for going forward. We're going to be doing accurate data representation. We're going to be using it for our tool, Webtoon Studio, the thing that helps you collect data on your comics and get yourself industry ready. And I'm going to level with you guys. I'm going to be using a little bit of this data for the project I'm working on. I mentioned this 2 streams ago, and I'm not going to divulge more than this, but let's just say collective is being worked on. Whether collective happens is anyone's guess, but the game, it's being worked on. We'll see where it goes. We'll see truly where it goes, but it's being worked on. I have no idea where it's going to end up. I have no idea what my decisions are going to be. I have no idea where everything's going to end at, but it's being worked on, and some real important, meaningful work is being done in that direction. Yes, Gene, you are correct. 17 million is incredibly low, considering they have 100 million active users, but it tells us that they actually have a very low, not that low, but they have a relatively low conversion to the highest form of engagement, which is a comment. Comment engagement is very, very low. No, not a game, it's a collective. Anyway, they have a very low amount of conversion to their highest form of engagement, but their likes work, so they don't give a shit. And the reads work, which is what the ads are for. It tells us that Webtoon readers are not really incentivized to comment. I don't know why. I don't have time to figure it out. Also, remember, like most Webtoons are 1 season long, about 60 chapters. 35,000 divided by 60 works out to give or take 35K divided by 60. We're going to give or take about 580 comments a chapter. In fact, I can find the exact number of comments per chapter on average. So we have about 70.7 million comments, and there are a total of 144,000 chapters, 144,909 chapters. So that's about 487 comments per chapter, give or take. Remember, there's a lot of comics that never got comments because they're too old. There's a lot of comics that aren't getting comments because of other things. So we're going to need to really time separate this in data to understand if engagement is going up or down, right? We need to remember that. And so we need to prioritize and keep that aware. I'll make sure to have that data as soon as we can. And we have a lot of analysis to do. Yeah, if I'm leveraging the value of a Facebook data researcher, someone I know who works really high up in Facebook as a data researcher, to help with this, because otherwise I'm going to be overwhelmed. She's very good. She's also the mother of my son, so that's going to be great. I keep calling my nephew my son. I'm going to confuse the shit out of you guys. In before people say, you have a wife? I don't. But applications are open. Comments reached their peak during COVID years, which makes sense because people were mostly home. Yeah, that's true. And binge culture, they mostly leave a comment at the end. They don't really leave a comment in the middle. So that's a thing to add up. Thank you, Tofel, for that. Also, Gleamy is right. The UI is really bad for encouraging comments. It does not encourage commenting. It doesn't even prioritize it, unlike every other platform that wants engagement. So that's another thing to bring up. Also, creators don't ask people to comment. Like, very few of them do. In fact, one of the things we're going to look into is whether creators who ask people to comment get more comments. Yes, we can actually give you that exact data, Linda. We can give you the exact data on how many people commented first. I think we got the entirety of the comment body, so we can tell you how many people commented the word first. We're not going to do that, maybe, but we will do our best. I think we got the comment data. I'm not sure. I need to check. I haven't looked at the database yet since we did this 2 weeks ago. Anyway, I don't even engage with the comments. I never know how to reply to readers. I mean, just say thank you. Like, if you say thank you, people are happy, Seashell. That's what you should always say. If you don't know what to say in the comments, say thank you. If you argue with them. But those are the only 2 things. The data is very valuable. I think it's going to be a very important thing to talk about. And it's also going to be something we're going to be doing for Canvas at some point. We just don't want to do it because originals cost us, like, if I'm going to be upfront with you guys, I'm going to give you a dollar amount. Originals cost us upward of $500 to do. Which doesn't sound like a lot of money, but it was a lot of engineering and then $500 of just like waiting, right? And that was for 2,000 comics. So Canvas is going to cost us easily in the $2,000 plus. And right now I'm too busy raising money for the Words and Pictures contest in August, which if you want to donate money to the Words and Pictures contest in August or know people who will, please remember to tell me. I'm trying to get money for us. Please. Anyway, sorry for screaming about that. If you're not funny, Seashell, I don't know, just get over yourself, man. Just be bad at being funny. I need to advertise it more. I don't, Linda. You're right. I don't, Linda. But like, I've been emailing people. I emailed everybody I emailed Top Cow. I emailed Boom. I'm emailing Scrivener today. I'm just trying to get the sponsors before I do any advertising. I'm trying to get sponsors attached before I do any advertising. If you want to sponsor a comic contest for the good of the community, please, I'm begging you, email Spider. They don't have money there. I'm not even trying to be a bitch. I love Spider Force, but they broke. Do you know? Do you know what I mean? They ain't got bread. Like, I love them, but they ain't got bread. I'm such a dick. I'm sorry. Like, no, the thing for me is the money is actually kind of important to this. I haven't actually thought about Broken Frontier in a while. Jesus Christ. Anyway, the money is actually important to the comic contest, not because I need the money. The money isn't for me. I don't get any of it. It's just, I think that this is also a way of giving money to the community, to artists who are not doing well, who need cash. And it's a great way for them to do that, show their skills and do more. And I want that to be something they put in their CV and they put in their registry as like, I won this event. I beat 500 people. I showed up and I won. I came, I saw, I conquered type shit. So, you know, that's going to be fun. Nero, if you see this, DM me. I need to talk to you. Talking to a specific person that I don't think anyone knows who that is, but I think he does watch the stream still, so whatever. Anyway, yeah, that's my personal stuff over. Let's get back to the news. Let's get back to the news. Thank you for listening to me talk about things that have nothing to do with the news. Wow, for a bit. Oh, actually, I almost forgot about this. Holy shit. Webtoon removed Daily Pass. I completely forgot about this. Webtoon removed Daily Pass, and Webtoon removed the star rating. Now, the star rating doesn't matter. I don't think that fucking matters at all. But Webtoon removing Daily Pass to me is probably the most important thing that happened here. So, okay. Yeah, Daily Pass. Not Fast Pass, Daily Pass. So the stuff for their like completed content. From what I'm understanding, that's not a thing anymore. And like, I may be wrong. I haven't looked in a few days. I could have misread it. I could have misunderstood it. Anybody who wants to call me out and tell me I'm wrong, please do now. But I think I'm right. I think Webtoon did remove Daily Pass. Let me just check on my usual comic. I don't know if it's for every Webtoon. That's the other thing as well. Requiem. I don't know if it's for every Webtoon. Nothing has made it very clear to me whether it's on every Webtoon. I'm just going to check with the comic I always check, which is Girls of the Wild. Which is Girls of the Wild, my favorite completed Webtoon that I have not read in years. Yeah, oh, they did remove for everything. Okay, good. I'm not crazy. Yes, they did. While there is still a Daily Pass cost where you can pay coins and you can still use their coins, the ad system is what they're going for. And in fact, this is actually very relevant to the investor report. So I figured it might be an interesting time for us to discuss the investor report. And I want to start off by saying today, Webtoon lost $20 million. I just think it's important to open with that. So year on year, Webtoon made $325 million this first quarter. That means they made a total loss. When you account for the currency and other things, that means they made a total loss of $22 million US net. This is their first time of losing money, as far as I can remember, in the last 3 years. Hey, Tempo, what's up? That's a new name, I think. Welcome, Tempo. It's good to have you here. Anyway, Webtoon lost $22 million for the first time in 3 years. The exact bonus CEO got? No, the CEO got $30 million. Let it go, okay? The CEO getting $30 million. JK earned that $30 million. Yes, Webtoon should have paid its CEO $30 million cash as a bonus for getting the company public in 2024. And that was not at all a corrupt behavior done by a company and a C-suite seeking to enrich themselves at the cost of the investor's dime. I don't think any of you are serious. I would never be facetious about this. My laugh has completely changed and I don't fucking like it. Anyway, Webtoon made lost $22 million this quarter. That's from January to April. Last year they made $6 million. And understand this, making a profit is not important. If they break even, that's also acceptable. But Webtoon is now making losses. Now, these losses might be indicative of a couple of things, and I think we need to talk about it. Webtoon going away from the daily pass model is because they recognize something that I've talked about on the stream before, and I want to talk about. And I think it's one that we pay attention to. The economy is bad. It's really fucking bad. The economy is really fucking bad. And so Webtoon was very willing to sacrifice wasting their time on gaining additional revenue through direct monetary payments, and instead trying to convert more people through ads. In fact, they saw, I think, like a 7% increase in ad money, which means that people want to read the completed series, and because they have access to it through ads, they're doing it. But people are also not paying as much. In fact, when you look at I'm trying to remember what the fucking acronyms mean. Sorry, I don't see them every day. The ARPU, the average revenue per paying user, right? In the global market, the ARPU went up 8%. So that means the average person's went from paying $11 in the global market, that's everywhere, US and everywhere else, went from paying $11 to $12. The average revenue per paying user. The average revenue per paying user in Korea went from $7 to $8, quarter on quarter. So that's between last year to this year's quarter, right? The average revenue in Japan went from $22 to $23. It's all going up. People are more likely to pay, and they're paying a little bit more money, but it's not a significant enough jump to put all your eggs in the basket, I think, of relying on coins. Coin people will always exist, and it's showing that the coin people may have been milked dry because they're not significantly increasing their payments. Compared to previously, they saw an increase, I think, from like $8 to $11 for ARPU in the global market. So I think it's important to recognize that fact, right? We also need to acknowledge the reality that while the monthly active users worldwide have gone up in most of the world, so specifically in Japan, and the global really just in Japan, the global monthly active users for Webtoon have gone down by 10% in the US, going from 171 million monthly active users last year, first quarter, to this year, going down to 153 million. That's in everywhere but Korea and Japan. And in Korea, it went down. Webtoon has a 10% loss of users in Korea. So remember earlier in the stream, I said that there's this belief that we have maxed out the number of people reading Webtoons. Webtoon has this belief that the number of comic reading people has maxed out. The investors think this, everyone's thinking this, seeing this. Whether that's true or not is irrelevant. What matters is people are operating on the belief that this is true. And so when you think you've maxed out a number of people you can make money from, a number of people you can add to increase your revenue pool to potentially make more money, your next action is to then figure out how to milk the people that are left. That's why we're going through a little bit of enchitification. We're going to be going through that for a bit, and we're going to see if the enchitification is actually enchitification or the opposite. But it's not a content issue. Look. I don't actually know how to say your name. Is it Nick Twin? I've been saying it's Nuketown. It's the Call of Duty Nuketown. Anyway, listen, Nuketown, hear what I'm saying to you. It's not a fucking content issue. Okay? It's not a content issue. When it comes down to it, the reality of the matter is Webtoon across the world is where most of the new different types of content go to. If it's a content issue, then every single platform would have experienced a reduction in readers, period. But they didn't all experience that. And Webtoon would have also had a complete reduction in readers across like internationally, but they didn't experience that. They had it in two of their market, their first primary market, and their second bigger global market. That could be easily explained by things like Tumix moving to Indonesia, making them lose whatever Indonesian readers that they have, because there's now a more local option showing more local translated content. It could also have to do with the fact that what do you call it? The Webtoon app has included more advertising lately and included more direct pushes towards certain kind of content. And it's not, that's not a content issue. That's a navigation issue, if that makes sense, right? If you make your platform more likely to feel like only this kind of content is going to be there, people will stay, people will come, people will see what they have, right? And Webtoon has lately defocused itself from showing romance content into showing more action content. And that might be alienating their female audience and their romance readers in general. Right, so there's this environment where the effect of monthly active user change is not going to be a content issue. Let me see what you're saying. That's why they're shrinking. The main content given in Japan isn't the same as the one in the US, and removing star rating is a critical sign that towards expanding a platform reader base that faces a stagnant user base. I do not think. Okay, so we're gonna disagree on this one, Nuketown. I do not think that the star rating is a deeply linked move. I think it's fundamentally a way of controlling user opinion, and I don't deny that because I can see that in your point, right? But I don't think that is a reaction to a stagnating user base. I really don't. I think the coins are a reaction to a stagnating user base, like switching from daily pass to ads. But I don't think the star rating is actually a critical thing. I really don't think that. They're not. I don't even think they're removing it for creators, Linda. They could have removed it earlier if it was for creators. I think they're fundamentally removing it because when they bring out content that people are unhappy with, they've regularly needed to. They've had people basically like rate bomb originals content they paid money for, and it has meant that that content has never regained the reader base that it should have had from day one once it got rate bombed. So there's a real world where this is fundamentally like a bottom line issue. Also, Nuketown, I'm happy to hear you out, dude. Write your response. I will 100% read it, and I will respond to it, and I will hit the points in it that I think I can understand. And if I don't get something, we'll get on a call. We'll talk about it. I don't care. On stream, right there in front of everyone. I want to hear your opinion. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to see your mind here, man. So like I don't think the star rating is that reaction. I do agree that they feel like they're stagnating, but I don't think that the stagnation is as a result of there are no people to find. I think there are more people to find in the webcomic space. I think there are more readers still left who have not engaged with this industry and this market and these users. I think what is happening though is that Webtoon is created an environment that feels hostile to some of those readers, and they're leaving and they're moving away. But I also understand that a lot of people just think we've capped. And I want to hear what people say when they think we've capped. I think this is more of a marketing issue and less of a there is no more people to read comics issue. Does that make sense? Is my point making sense? Because I'm going to hear someone's going to send me a point that's going to contradict me. And I want to really know that I'm being clear so that when they tell me stuff, I can clearly respond, if that makes sense. Yeah. What else is there? Yeah, because I think a lot about how a lot of the Webtoon market, a lot of the Webtoon market. Wait a second, I didn't actually see this number. One second. There's a number I didn't see on the report, and I need to actually check something here. Fuck, because that might change my opinion on this. Hold on, I'm so sorry. I was a little bit sloppy with this. I think the star rating is fine. You people are being mean to star rating. We love star rating. Star rating is my friend. This is a joke. Oh yeah, if you have a rating that's too low, you get hidden from being read. I've seen that. Okay, Nuketown saying, in a study from Netflix, when they face this issue after investigating Disney, it's not that there aren't any people left to read, there's perception of the platform. Okay, so you're saying that when we see the star ratings, people are seeing this star rating feature and they're going, why are so many of our content under 8 stars or whatever, right? And they're going, that means the platform doesn't have good content. Is that what you're saying? And so that, am I grasping you correctly? Like just hit me with the yeah or no on that, and I'll make sure I'm following. Let me just see this. Oh, if you have like under like a 4-star rating or something, or a 5, and people search you, I don't think it's still a thing, but if people search, it used to be if you had under a certain amount of star rating, people search your exact name, you don't show up in the searches. It happened to Luxiva. That's why I know this is a thing. And I saw it happen in front of my eyes. I'm not joking. This was like before any of the content ratings things happened, like, you know, the adult, young adult, all that stuff, before any of that. Okay. So I understand what you're saying, Nuketown. Okay, you know what? I can see that argument. They're basically doing it to basically maintain the perception of all the content is good. If you have like some kind of rating system, it can mess with the perception of content, right? Because everyone's perception, I think it was maybe 8 years ago, in order to become a broad content platform, Netflix basically explained in earnings call, user bases read a certain genre or type of content, and if they're the large community on the platform, they will actively rate products that don't fall into their threshold far lower. Oh, okay. Nuketown, I see what you're saying. At the same time, Netflix was mostly cheesy action schlop with C-level plots. They attempted several times to introduce comedy specials, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I understand what you're saying, Nuketown. I understand what you're saying. Okay. Give this man a fucking award. Give this man a fucking award, because he's right. He's right. Honestly, this is the only explanation that ties together everything in my brain right now. So I think he's fucking right. So it's a combination of, because like Nuketown, this ties into the removal of the banner. It ties into the removal of the banner, doesn't it? Like, you remove the star rating, you remove the banner, you remove. I said this. What? When did I say this? I completely forgot that I said this, if I ever did. What the fuck? When? Oh my fucking God! Oh my God, and I fucking... Okay. Let me just explain. Let me put the words together in my head. Give me a second, chat. Give me a fucking second. So, what Nuketown is telling me that I said, apparently, that he's then reading back to me, essentially works like this, right? Webtoon's getting an AI recommendation algorithm. Webtoon removed their banner. Like, just follow me on these things, right? Webtoon's removing the banner and going for the new layout that's based on the Korean layout. Webtoon's removing the star rating system. Webtoon is not just the star rating system. Fuck, I'm trying to remember the last thing I was thinking about. Just, there was one last thing. Webtoon reader numbers are going down. They're getting more content from abroad to like appease a very specific reader base. Basically, everything they're doing right now, right, is to slowly, is to basically put themselves in a position where as vast a reader base as possible can engage with the platform. Right? And so if they kept the star rating, if they kept the banner, they would basically regularly be broadcasting to the audience. There is a specific piece of content that this platform is made for, right? But by removing all of these things, they basically make it so that like people who, like, for example, only read BL, right, will not downvote the action comic, thereby making sure that like the people who only read BL will only go on to engage with more BL, which is what the AI recommendation algorithm is for, to maintain them in a fucking line, keep them from seeing shit that they don't fucking like, right? Remove the star rating so they don't fucking mess up other people's reputation, and then they basically stay on the same path. But that means that they're going to end up in a fucking like content circle, right? And if there's no more content for them to engage with, because there's not enough of that content on the platform, they will leave. But because we're doing, like, basically doing all these behaviors and doing all these things and making them happen, it's like, it's taking a minute for me to connect all the dots. The content circle, the content cycle, the content echo chamber, the algorithm. We really did go full circle. YouTube is back. Welcome back, YouTube 2012. Welcome back, YouTube 2012. When did I say this? I'm too busy thinking when I was that smart. I'm not smart. So when was I that smart? No, that couldn't be me. But maybe it is me. That's such an interesting and intelligent point. It couldn't have been from me. Whatever. Anyway, patreon.com/webcomics hub. Anyway, they hate to see me coming because I read any genre if I like it. Guys, I'm getting bullied by chat. Listen, I don't have fucking dementia, okay? I just had surgery. Nukta, I just had surgery. Be nice to me. Be nice to me, man. I just had surgery. Why am I getting bullied by my own chat? What the fuck is happening? I forgore. I did, didn't I? I drew this out. I drew a fucking diagram. Of course I did. I forgore. I forgore. Oh my God. Oopsie. I did an oopsie. We all did an oopsie. No one noticed. No, really. I'm so pissed off with myself. Damn, this one is interesting. And it's just me having a fucking mental breakdown by forgetting my own content cycle. Anyway, patreon.com/webcomics hub. Also, you can subscribe on Twitch. Give me your Twitch Prime. Go to YouTube Frogs. Go to the Twitch. Go there. Use your Twitch Prime. Give me your Twitch Prime. Thank you. Anyway, I meant me fucking. Sometimes I realized that at some point in my life it was intelligent. I don't know when that was, but that did happen to me. I'm so proud of myself. Like the YouTube video. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for reminding me, Quant. I need to keep asking for this stuff. I'm so fucking tired. What happened to me? What happened to me in the preceding weeks? Where did all my knowledge go? Thank you for the Prime, Seashell. Thank you for the Prime. Wait, what the fuck was that talking from again? The mice. Oh, wait. Yes, I was never book smart. I'm money smart. Makes me more intelligent. Call me Mr. Rock Festival. I got hella bands. Charlie cute. Had a circle too. Told her get a friend. She go make me slide with my dog. Like a Mega Man. Okay. Anyway, now that I've referenced obscure music from the internet that nobody knows about, moving forward. My chat is the nightmare place, and I feel bad when I let them do this. It's a great move by Webtoon. It take time to see the effects, but this is a really good thing. I mean, yeah, Nuketown is a massively good thing. Like once I connected the dots in my fucking head. But but the thing is, Nuketown, it would rely on them making their recommendation algorithm significantly better. Like Webtoon recommendation needs to mean that your front page and my front page when we open the app is different. Like they need to do that. If they do that, if they fundamentally do that, then you're right. It will change everything. It will change the way we surface content. It will change the way people find new stuff. It will change the way people engage with the platform. It will maintain longer reading hours, not just incredibly, not just longer reading hours, but like way more users. What's taking them so long? Well, it seems like going public was important, like to get independence. For the most part, they've been beholden to what Naver wanted. And now that they're operating as Webtoon, the company can make whatever decisions they fucking want to. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see how long it takes. And they could only really do it until they became Webtoon the company, which didn't happen until last year, and didn't really like become an internally consistent thing until about 3 years ago. So, keep that in mind. The resource movement and the behavior of the company is largely related to the corporate structure. Anyway, that's a really good way to end the American news, because now we can get on to Korea news. Oh, one last American news thing. Diamond Distributors is still fucking going under. People are not getting their books. I think maybe it just looked bad. Everything about this is bad. You can read all the good Diamond Distribution news on Bleeding Cool. It's great. Bleeding Cool's got all the good stuff on Diamond Distribution. Go read that. It's perfect. It's great. And I think everyone should go read that. I don't have much else to say on this. I don't give a shit about Diamond. I was going to talk about Diamond, but really I just don't give a fuck enough about them, to be honest with you. Okay. Guys, welcome Oh, I need to have an intro for this section when I talk about Korea. Welcome to Place Korea. Hold on, wait. Give me a fucking second. Korean map. Okay. Guys, welcome to Place Korea. It's like Place Sweden, but Korea, specifically the south section of this map. Okay, we're going to be talking about all the Korean news that I managed to cover and collect. I talked about one of them a little bit earlier, but let's go into it. From Korea Jungang Daily, AI is finding a home sweet home in video generation. We're actually seeing a lot more people. The CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, is talking about the fact that there's a K-pop singer called G-Dragon. He used AI in his music video, and he's talking about the fact that AI-generated music videos are going to become more of a thing in Korea as they seek to make higher production value stuff, and it's just the direction that they want to take. There is the seeming introduction of more AI into the entire workflow with companies like Naver. This is the one. Naver going on to invest in a company called 12 Labs. And this is Hae-Jin Lee, is the Naver founder. Going on to invest in a company called 12 Labs for more AI. And also, the founder of Naver went to the United States to talk to more AI companies with regard to AI and Webtoons. So again, we're seeing more and more AI coming into the media space. And Korea is at the forefront pushing it, along with CEO Satya Nadella of Microsoft and, of course, Saudi Arabia. Let's go, whatever that means. Korea and Saudi Arabia are hosting they hosted a business forum recently. What this just means is that the countries are wanting to work together deeper, and that means we're going to be seeing more Saudi Arabian webtoons. In fact, I have a Saudi Arabian manga. Where did I put it? There it is. Okay. So I have a manga. It's called, and I'm going to open the website because the website is somewhere inside of this book. Yeah, there's it. So, the person who made this manga, Jasim for Manga, which I think may use AI, the one on the left, he was at Comic-Con. He was at MCM Comic-Con, which again, if you're going to any Comic-Cons, please tell me and meet me there so that I can lick your forehead. I'm joking. I'm not going to do that. This person handed me the book on the left for free. He came to Comic-Con, he spent $200 on a table at Artist Alley, and he was handing out the graphic novels of Justice in the Wasteland for free. I'm going to read it and make a review, so look out for a short review on that on the channel. But I just wanted to be clear, the deep connection of Middle Eastern comic creators, manga, and webtoons is ripe and rich, and right now, we're seeing the exploitation expand itself rapidly. We might see that be the new direction which companies like Global Comics and other companies get revenue. Is it an AI comic? I don't know. The cover looks like AI, but I don't know. There's an artist credited, and I haven't read it yet. I just have it in my hands. I didn't pay for it, so I just have to read it. But yeah, I just thought it'd be useful to mention that is happening. And then moving on. My final piece of Place Korea news. My final piece of Place Korea news is Naver and Netflix. I've contacted somebody at Naver, and they have said that this is not true. There's one at Webtoon, and they've said that they have a relationship with Netflix, but it's not any deeper than that. But Naver and Netflix are speaking. People have said that they know that they're speaking. We're going to be probably seeing more live actions through Netflix. We're going to be seeing a world where Naver and Netflix relationship is getting deeper. Deeper! And that's really everything from Place Korea. Thank you very much. Well, say goodbye to Place Korea, everyone. Say goodbye to Place Korea, everyone. Goodbye. Goodbye, Korea. Goodbye. There's not a lot of Korean news today because I just didn't look deeper. Oh, I just didn't look too deep. But bye, Place Korea. Lower Olympus animation, probably not going to happen. I just want you to know that. I've said this before in a stream. I think, I don't know. I got directly from communication directly from someone at Webtoon. Probably not going to happen. Might? Probably not. Probably no Lower Olympus anime. Likely no Lower Olympus animation ever. Complicated rights dispute thing. I don't care. No one wants to explain it to me. Everyone's afraid. So womp womp indeed. Let's Play anime. Someone mentioned it. I mentioned it as well. Let's Play animation is happening. There's a live action happening. I don't remember where live action is happening. But ORV live action is happening. Yeah, there's a lot of media stuff happening. It's going to be great. I'm nosy too. I'm nosy as fuck. I would love to see the development of the work. I would love to see all the development work for the Lore Olympus animation, because I understand that work was done. I understand that work was actually done. Now, we are at the stage of the stream where you can ask me whatever you want to ask me, and tell me whatever you want to tell me, and maybe tell me news I missed out on. Maybe I don't know something. I don't fucking know. Tell me, let's talk. And if you're watching this later, you get here and you're in the comments, please write in the comments. I respond to every comment, or at least I read it. Can we talk about T'Challa's new white son? What? Wait, what the fuck are you saying? T'Challa? White son? What? Wait, Ryan Gosling is the son of T'Challa? Huh? Huh? Ruth Conda Forever is happening for real? Right? Oh, Marvel. Okay. Marvel Comics introduces T'Challa's white son, Kitema. Why is he white? Why is he the new Black Panther? Why is the new Black Panther a white guy? They really made an entire fictional African country and said that, you know what? Black people would sooner hire a white person to do the black person's job. And you know what? Maybe they're fucking right, quite honestly. Because that's what just I'm seeing here. Where? Like, is he wasn't Black Panther originally a white person, and then they made him a black person, and then now he's white again? Joe Quesada did this? Joe Quesada did this? Joe Quesada and Christopher okay. All right, Joe. All right, Joe. I was trying to remember if Black Panther was originally white. No, I'm thinking of Nick Fury. That's what I was thinking of. Nick Fury was originally white, then became black because of Samuel L. Jackson. That's not really that important. White Black Panther. The Ryan Gosling, I looked it up, and the first thing that came up was the Ryan Gosling thing. So I don't actually know what to do right now. Oh, this is a joke. Okay, thank God. The Ryan Gosling thing is a joke. It's a joke. They're saying that he's going to become Kitema as a joke because the new issue is so fucking ridiculous. No, the White Panther, there's no White Panther, there's White Tiger, who's a woman. Because I think doesn't Black Panther's son become White Panther in the original? Hold on, let me check this out. I need to check this out. I need to remember who this is. Oh, I can't find, White Wolf is what I'm thinking of, not White Panther. And I'm thinking of White Tigress and White Wolf. Yeah. His secret white brother, White Wolf, calls out his racist savior story. What is happening? They made a black character. They made a character for the blacks, and then they've taken him away from us. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, I don't care anymore. This has made me genuinely depressed. I don't know why you told me this information. Anyway, do I still play the bass ukulele? Yes, I do, but I'm not very good. I'm still learning the bass. The Tapas contest. I saw a Tapas contest. I just don't think there's anything interesting to say about the Tapas contest. If you don't know, there's a Tapas contest involving Kickstarter. Tapas and Kickstarter contest. I think the winner gets kickstarted into like an anthology or something. I don't know. I don't care. It's just, I'm sorry. This Tapas Kickstarter contest just was so uninteresting to me. Like, I read it, and then I was like, first place is $3,000, and then you were bundled into an anthology with, I think, first place to 10th place, and then you get a Kickstarter for the anthology, and I think maybe you make money off of the anthology, and that's it. Okay, like it's just deeply uninteresting. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you give away 3 years of publishing rights for this. Like, this is not. It just isn't worth it. I mean, maybe it's for an IP. Like, I think for some people who have something they don't really care about, they're willing to just throw away the story once they're done. Go for it. But anyone else, I wouldn't recommend. That's it. That's all I can say about that. Yeah. Oh, you make money off the Kickstarter? Great. It probably won't be much because, unless a big person wins first place, it won't be much money. So you need to hope that first to third, or at least, basically, everyone from 4th to 10th needs to hope that first to third are like heavy hitters. That's what they need to hope for. Right? Because, like, Because if they're heavy hitters, then the Kickstarter will really succeed. And then that means bottom of the rung will still get a sizable amount of money. If that makes sense. I don't know. It just wasn't interesting. Tapas is not doing anything interesting right now. They're playing it very safe, reasonably so. But they are playing it incredibly safe. It's just made them a very uninteresting company to cover. That's why I'm not talking about them much. They've always been a little uninteresting, but in my opinion, it's gotten a little more uninteresting than usual. Especially with Kakao trying to dump Tapas and most of their entertainment companies, you know? So that's something to consider. You know, I don't know how I feel about the whole Kakao thing, Tapas Kakao thing. Anyway, yeah, I think especially when you realize that like a lot of the movements that are happening behind Naver and Webtoon's big drive for comics, behind the like crazy increase in comic companies, is that the Korean like culture association, I think they're called Kaka or something, lol cock. Anyway, the Korean Culture Association is giving out big money to anybody making webtoons, not just in Korea, but I think from outside Korea as well, to promote the webtoon. You know, it's part of their big culture push for webcomics, and you know, that's something that's always been there. They're not giving it to individuals; they're giving it to corporations, I believe. Most of them will be Korean. I think only the exceptional people who are coming into Korea from outside of Korea will be getting money from the Korean Culture Association. But it's mostly Southeast Asia that the money is really going to. And, you know, and when you realize the fact that, but the thing is they have offices all around the world. They have a UK one. They have like a Swedish one. So like there might be a chance that like if you contact those offices, they might have money for you, but you know, I don't, there's no deep thing to say here. It's just Kaka is giving out money. Not Webtoons, the Korean like culture, creative, no. It's called the Korean Creative Content Agency. Creative Content Agency, yeah. They have offices around the world. They spend a lot of money on promoting Webtoon as a like webcomics and a lot of Korean culture and Korean media. If you ever wondered why like no, it's KOCCA. If you ever wondered why like so many like not VTubers, K-pop artists, all this stuff. You ever wondered why like their stuff is so popular and big locally? The creative agency basically takes government money to reduce the cost of like hiring a K-pop artist, for example, which will make them more likely to get a TV show spot, which will make them more likely to be seen by normies, make them more likely to be loved, followed, and then increase the influence of Korean media. This is like 1950s American media imperialism around the world, man. It's that kind of shit. Except back then we didn't have shit, but this time it's bigger. Yeah. What else? Anything else I missed? Any other questions? Anyone was asked? Webtoon's never going to MCM. I don't think Webtoon's going to MCM in the next like 5-10 years or any UK cons. Next 5 years, not 10, 5 years. I just think Webtoon sees Europe as a very weak market, but a market that they want to have power in. So they just don't. And the UK, and the thing is, Europe isn't unified. Like, you know, if you go to like an American con, you know, going to other American cons makes sense because everyone goes to this con, everyone goes to that con, right? But MCM summer this year was like empty, in my opinion. MCM was kind of empty, and then like what Dokomi is really full of Germans. Very few English people go there. What Angoulême is just you know, Francais, the people who I despise. I'm joking. I like French people. And then what? You go to Denmark? Like when it comes down to it, where do you go in Europe to attract everyone from Europe? Where? The English think they're too good for the Europeans. The Europeans think they're too good for the English. The MCM is probably the only centralized location and Thought Bubble, but no one's fucking going to either of those. Webtoons never come to Europe. They have European offices, but the European offices don't do anything. Webtoon France did not go to Angoulême last time I was there. Webtoon France has never come to the UK, but like it just doesn't happen. So they have offices, they just don't. And the thing is, even the Webtoon Germany guy is one guy, and I think like a team, but they operate entirely in Korea, and only one guy comes to represent them in Germany. They don't actually like operate in Germany. So I know Webtoon Press would not go to UK, but you get my point. They don't go to anything. That's my and also they could still go to UK. French publishers come to the UK all the time. Like it's not a lot of them, but some of them. Like sounds with a Dupois. Dupois used to come to the UK a long time ago. They don't anymore though. And we've still got Panini, who's like the localizer for a lot of the Marvel comics, who also wants to localize their own internal content, who go to almost every con. They were at MCM, but like nobody's pushing things through them. Like all Panini did was push Webtoon. They pushed a few Webtoons, but they were mostly things like Everything Is Fine, like already published books that they localized and they had some English versions of. So I don't know. Yeah, I know. So like, I'm just saying like Panini pushed some Webtoons, but like it's not Webtoons coming to the US, to the UK. It's Panini just bringing stuff over the way they always did. Marvel UK style. It's such a deep cut for anyone who's not in the industry in Europe. It's a deep cut. Or for everyone else in Europe, it's like whatever. Anyway, yeah, like it's just where the industry's kind of slowing down. Not slowing down. We're at a bit of a lull point. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. I'm looking forward to it. Actually, I have a question for you guys. I have a genuine, serious question. Let's say there's a webcomic company. Let's call it Company A, right? And Company A wants you to work with them in some capacity. Let's just ideal. The cow is a sphere, right? The company is the ideal company to work for, type shit. You like them, you like people who work there, etc. But then Company A has like a second project that is not associated with where they're going to put you. Like they're sister sites, but they're not like, nobody on one would know about the other if they didn't look for it. And the Company A's like sister site is like a porn site. Would that make you less likely to work with Company A? And it's still indie comic porn, so it's other indie creators like you, they just make porn. Would that make you less likely to work with Company A? I'm curious. Like if Webtoon was hiring you and they had like Webtoon After Dark, or like Dark, like I'm gonna say that, Night Tune, that's also somehow bad. Anyway, they had like Porn Tune website, and like they hired indie creators there too, but they were offering you ideal contract situation. Would you work with them, even knowing that? Would Porn Tune stop you? I do love the name Porn Tune. It's my favorite thing ever. I've been thinking about this because someone reached out to me about. Well, some creators don't like it. They think it affects their legitimacy. Kiki. So if you're asking why would that matter, that's why that matters. Some people. Oh, there's an event. There's a agent and like publisher event that happens on Discord. It happened during the pandemic and it's back. And I think you might want to. I might talk about it closer to the date. Maybe we'll get more people to go do it. No, but like it's not. You don't have to make the porn. It's just Site A makes only safe for our content. Site B makes only porn, and the company owns both sites, and they're separate sites. They just hire people for both. I'm curious if that matters. I'd probably do one on the other side too. Okay, you'd probably do one on both sides. Cool, interesting. It's not like I'd be on that side. Okay, you don't think you don't think your audience knowing that, like let's say your audience finds out the link between Company A's site A and B. You don't think that's a bad thing? I'm curious. I'd want to work on both sites too. You guys are animals. Oh, the porn people. Linda has been waiting for porn. Linda's like, oh, you mean I can make fantastic like I can make plastic fantastic content, but also smut? That's a Linda take I've ever seen one. I love that. Like content with an Adult Swim? Yeah, but Adult Swim doesn't have graphic porn on it. You know what? Good point. You know what? You're all right. I have no problem with that. I'm just curious. I mean, we're at the end of the thing, so let's talk a little bit. I'll give you guys a little bit of a conversation. We're going to the suicide forest. So I can tell you this, and I can remember to cut this out later. bless, God bless, God bless. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh, can someone make me an intro for Welcome to Place Korea? Guys, I want to put all the Korean news in a section called Welcome to Place Korea. Can someone help me make a little video intro? I will pay mild money, like maybe like $100, but I don't got a lot of money. I'll pay though. I'll pay for an intro to Welcome to Place Korea. You can make a song, you can make a video. Just give me something for Welcome to Place Korea. Thank you, bye.